Hello, this is Ron Paul with your weekly update for Monday, October 15th. September marked a decade since bursting of the housing bubble, the subsequent stock market meltdown, and the government bailout of the big banks and Wall Street. This week's frantic stock market sell-off shows that the failure to learn the lesson of 2008 makes another meltdown inevitable. In 2001-2002, the Federal Reserve responded to the economic downturn caused by the bursting of the technology bubble by pumping money into the economy. This new money ended up in the housing market. This was because the so-called conservative Bush administration, like the liberal Clinton administration before it, was using the Community Reinvestment Act and government-sponsored enterprises, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, to make mortgages available to anyone who wanted one, regardless of income or credit history. Banks and other lenders eagerly embraced this ownership society agenda with a lend first, ask questions when the foreclosing policy. The result was the growth of subprime mortgages, the rush to invest in housing, and millions of Americans finding themselves in homes they could not afford. When the housing bubble burst, the government should have let the downturn run its course in order to correct the malinvestments made during the phony Fed-created boom. This may have caused short-term pain, but would have ensured the recovery would be based on solid foundation rather than a bubble of fiat currency. Of course, Congress did exactly the opposite, bailing out Wall Street and the big banks. The Federal Reserve cut interest rates to historic lows and embarked on a desperate attempt to inflate the economy via QE1, 2, and 3. Low interest rates and quantitative easing has left the Fed with a dilemma. In order to avoid a return to 1970s inflation, or worse, they must raise interest rates and draw down their balance sheets. However, raising rates too much risks popping what financial expert Graham Summers calls the everything bubble. Today, credit card debt is over $1 trillion. Student loan debt is at $1.4 trillion. There are bubbles in auto loans and even a new housing bubble. But the biggest part of the everything bubble is the government bubble. Federal debt is over $22 trillion and expanding by $52,000 per second. A 1% increase in interest rates would raise federal government interest payments by $1.3 trillion over the next 10 years. This means the Fed is unlikely to significantly raise interest rates. Instead, the Fed will continue making small increases while moving slowly to unwind its balance sheet, hoping to gradually return to a normal monetary policy without busting the everything bubble. The Fed will be unsuccessful in keeping the everything bubble from exploding. When this happens, America will experience an economic crisis much greater than the 2008 meltdown or the Great Depression. The crisis is rooted in the failure to learn the lessons of 2008 and of every other recession since the Fed's creation, allowing a secretive central bank to manipulate the interest rates and distort economic signals regarding market conditions. This leads to malinvestment and an explosion of individual, business, and government debt. This may cause a temporary boom, but it soon will be followed by a bust. The only way this cycle can be broken without a major crisis is for Congress to